Welcome to our podcast. We are Beth Cornell
and Sarah Cornell.
And this week's subject is a subject that we both have a lot of passion about, and it's college.
We probably have far too much experience with it as well.
Yes. I've been in college since I was 49 years old, and I am now 52. And in 6 months, I'll be graduating with an associate's degree. I know that sounds kind of long, but I had a lot of breaks and a lot of major changes, and I had one really tragic school closing event. So, yeah, it's been a journey.
Yeah. I started my college journey, if you want to call it that. It was started in 2015, and I just graduated in 2019, May of this year, with an associate's degree. I didn't have like a set path or anything. I was just like taking classes to take classes, and then I started to realize that I did this really cool thing. And in high school, it was like the morning announcements. We'd make the graphics for them, and I thought, that's a job, right? And I looked into it. Yes, it is. And they had a path for it called Digital Media Arts, and I graduated in May of this year with an associate's degree. And if you think that's a long time to get an associate's degree, that's 4 years for a degree that should only probably take you about 1.5, maybe 2.
Yeah, but if you know what you're going for and you can go straight through, 2 years is plenty. But if it's an exploratory process, or like in my case, I had a lot of things happen. A lot of adults who go back to school have things happen, and they can't just dedicate that as their priority, because they obviously have other priorities that kind of come first, such as paying for a house and making a living and tons of other responsibilities to keep track of.
I had just moved out about a year before I went back, I think. I moved out in 2014.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then I spent a year just working and getting money and the soft experience of like customer service, I guess. And I was like, I should take a class on, I don't know, something fun. And I did a creative writing class with a teacher who knew my friends. Like, she knew Austin, of all people. And I had a really, really good experience, just because I was not expecting college to be what it is. And I feel like that's like a good thing. Like, some people say that as like a negative thing. They're like, college isn't what I was expecting. Ugh. And I was like, no, I kind of like this, because with high school and like every other schooling, you're like chained to your desk, and I didn't want to be chained to my desk anymore.
Well, and I think a lot of kids, when they go to college right out of high school, they don't realize that the script kind of gets flipped, and that
you have to take care of yourself.
Yeah, it's your job to steer yourself through the process in many ways, not just picking classes and getting yourself through the degree path, but also like figuring out your time management and your money management and all these different skills that come into play.
I should preface this by saying I'm 26 years old, and by the time I was in college, I was about 21. I had just turned 21, just about.
Yeah.
So I was definitely like an older college student amongst these kids who, you know, were still in high school or had just graduated, and we were taking, you know, early classes or whatever. But
so we're definitely advocating college. We like college. However, we are not your traditional learners. We're not. We just came out of high school, went into college, went right through a program and got a degree out of it.
No, like, it took us forever.
Right. And we both have no college debt. So that's another thing, another reason why it takes a little longer, is that when you're pay as you go, you don't rip right through those classes. You take them as you can pay for them.
Yeah. Applying for Pell Grants and making sure that your FAFSA is in place.
So
community college as well, by the way. None of us are university accredited. We're community college accredited.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if I ever should have gone to college, because my experience hasn't been success per se. However, I stuck with it just to finish it because I feel like I'm not a very good finisher. And
all these plans.
By golly, I'm going to finish this. It may finish me.
I hope not, Mother.
I hope
Please
not
no.
too. But, overall, it's been lately a great experience.
You've had a lot of really good teachers that I'm super jealous of.
Yeah. So I'm in a program that is web and media design down at the Australia Mountain Community College. And my track got changed about 6 months ago onto this because I was awarded a CTE certificate for the state of Arizona, which means I can teach web and graphic arts to children under the age of 18.
There you go.
All the way down to 6th grade, actually, if that was a thing. But I think they begin more around the freshman year of high school.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah, there are probably some middle school programs
because when I was in Zuni Hills,
yeah.
The computer class was that. It was like basic programming, and
yeah,
I mean, it tells you how old I am that there was a computer class.
Well, there's always been an element of teaching in everything I've done. When I worked with clients, I was often educating them, and whether they knew it or not, they were learning something from me. And some of them directly asked me to teach them specific things about
how their website works.
Yeah. So I actually went and sat side by side with them and did some teaching that way too. But anyway, regardless, prior to that, I studied social work. And prior to that, I studied in medical fields. I studied occupational therapy assisting and speech therapy. Two fields that I feel strongly about because I worked with special needs kids in public schools. And I was drawn to those areas, ultimately not choosing those areas because of the amount of paperwork I would have been doing and the not amount of FaceTime therapy that I would be doing with these students. It's just not a good situation. Yeah. I felt like I could help more people in this field. So then I ended up here, and this is where I'm going to graduate from.
Congratulations, lady. You're nearly there as well.
Yeah.
As somebody who's sitting on the other side, but I'm going to tell you, it's not all typed up to be.
I already know that. I don't really put a lot of weight into the fact that I did this.
I did at the time, because you get this strange, like, second wind, or in my case, like, 700th wind in your final semester of college, where you're just like, oh my god, it's happening. Is this happening? Oh my god, I have the paper that gives me instructions on how to graduate. It's happening. Holy hell. And like, it's just really jarring, because it's, you were so expecting to, be like, oh crap, in 2 weeks I gotta sign up for, fall classes. And then it's like, no, I don't have to renew my FAFSA. I ain't gotta do nothing. And I'm like I said, I'm jealous of your teachers. You have some really good ones. I was glad I got to meet your one teacher, because he gave me some really...
Well, he's always available if we need him.
Yeah, he gave me some really good pointers on like where to go with my creative process, and in order to like gain employment at places. Because currently I'm working as, I guess, a freelance editor currently. It's an easy way to say it.
Yeah.
Freelance editor and motion graphic designer. There you go.
Yeah.
There's some technical mumbo jumbo for you.
Any companies out there that need these services, Sarah's for hire, freelance or otherwise.
Yep, SarahCornell.com.
I'm really not for hire yet. I'm very picky, and I'll probably be on the job market late next year.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, because I definitely felt this, and it's because I don't look my age. I'm very baby-faced. I don't look like I'm 26. I look like I'm either really early 20s, and that's about where I sit. And I guess 26 is early 20s.
It is.
But, like, some people don't even think I'm over the age of 21. And I get that, because I wear pop culture t-shirt. I'm wearing one right now. I'm wearing a Lord of the Rings shirt, and I have a weird haircut. I wear weird shoes. Like, I just look like a baby, and a lot of my fellow classmates were, like, shocked by how old I actually was in comparison to them, because most of them were, like, 18, 19. None of them were in their 20s yet. And when they found out that I was 26, they were like, oh my God, you're like a grandma. So I'm wondering if you ever had an experience with, like, people who were around your age range, and then they found out how old you were, and they were like, oh my God, what?
Yeah, I get that a lot. And a lot of the students who I've sat in classes with, when I do mostly online classes, but I do go to class once in a blue moon. And I had a lab class that I had to go to, and I sat with really young people your age. And they thought I was in my 40s or late 30s, and I'm 52. So then when they found out I was as old as I am, and some of the comments that I had given out, they were like, oh my God, what's wrong with this grandma over here? But yeah, it's fun. I love young people. I love being around young people. I can't imagine my life without kids. That's one of the reasons I'd like to go back and teach back into a school.
You definitely are a kid person.
Yeah. I get a lot of energy from working with the youth of today.
I think that's what makes you so young as well.
Well,
in appearance.
I feel like I think like they do. I definitely can commiserate with their situation.
Yeah.
And,
help them in that area, because
maybe not.
Or at least ease
lost
them
with them.
Yeah, be lost with them. Yeah, that helps.
Is pretty much what I've been for the last 10 years.
I would much prefer a younger Sarah would much prefer an adult to be like, you know what, I don't know either, buddy, but here I am.
Well, a lot of adults think they know, but when they are faced with challenges, they don't.
And that's why I felt it was very insincere when adults were like, don't worry, it'll make sense when you're older. It's like, no, it doesn't. You're lying to me. I don't know who
those adults were, but they're wrong. It makes even less sense.
Most of like my grade school teachers, and like counselors from high school, like they're like, don't worry.
I think they're paid to say stuff like that.
And your experience with college was way different, because as you said, you took online classes.
Yeah.
And you were successful.
Right.
You had a lot of success with online classes. I didn't.
Yeah.
And you got to experience me not have success with online classes. I took English 102, which...
should have been a no-brainer online.
Yeah, no-brainer
it's
online.
It's just writing.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
It's writing essays, actually.
It's writing essays, big research papers. And the reason you take an online class, at least in my opinion, is you don't have time to show up to a physical classroom in order to take a class. You're taking that online class because for you, it's more convenient. You set your own pace, at least according to the teacher. Like, sometimes that teacher doesn't want you to go past a certain area without having the rest of the class be caught up with you. But for the most part, you set your own pace, and you do it as it comes. And for whatever reason, the English 102 teacher that I had, she wanted us to physically go to a library in order to gain research, and I don't want to sound like an asshole, but like with physical books. And that's fine, but I didn't have time to go to a library. I was taking 3 other classes on top of her online class, all which required enormous amounts of work, because all 3 of them were production classes in art. And if you've ever taken a production art class, you know that you are working every minute of every day. There is hardly a moment that you aren't sitting at your computer. So taking this online class, I hoped that it wouldn't be, I wouldn't have to go to like a library somewhere. And I had people say like, oh, well, there's a library on campus. Why don't you just like drop in there? It's like, I literally don't have time. I don't have time. And the campus...
Did you read the syllabus really close before you took it to find out if it was hybrid maybe?
No, it wasn't a hybrid class at all. And it never once did it say truly specifically in the syllabus that we had to go to the library. So I never took that to heart, which was inevitably my downfall with this class, was because she really wanted you to have physical book references.
Well, it's a good thing I have an old encyclopedia.
Yeah, if it wasn't for your encyclopedia, I would have taken like a really big hit, but I just didn't have time. I think I was still working as well.
Yeah.
At Starbucks at the time, while also taking 4 classes.
Yeah, you got to be careful because, like, before I always check it out as much as I can. And there have been instances where they say you have to come and take a test somewhere.
Yeah.
If I feel that I'm not going to be able to do that for some reason, I don't take that class.
It was purely online. And in fact, I remember very specifically, I emailed the teacher to make sure that I would never have to appear in class physically with her, with this English 102 class, and she said, nope, it's purely online, except for the part where you have to go to a library and like rent out a book and like do that kind of thing. And there is merit in doing that. I feel like that's kind of like a lost art, but at the same time, it's an online class. I literally don't have time to go do that.
Yeah, a lot of the reference material at libraries is digital.
Yeah, and it's digital. Exactly, it was digital.
It's digital at the college, so I don't really get it.
Yeah, I didn't get it either, and I had pled my case several times to her that I didn't have time, I couldn't go do this, and she just wasn't having it. So I think I ended up getting an A.
No, I'm sure you did. You can write very well.
I write very well, but it was hard fought. I fought tooth and nail to make sure that I got that A, just because, like, I don't know, I just didn't think it was fair.
Yeah, that's one of the things about college is it isn't fair. There's a lot of things about college that isn't fair. But one thing you shouldn't put up with is fraud. And if you're in a college and you feel that there's fraud, then you should report it.
Yeah, or a teacher.
I feel very strongly about that because that was happening at one of the colleges I was at.
Are you allowed to talk about this?
And it was reported. Sure.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure if it had...
As long as I don't mention a name.
Okay. Can I mention a name?
No.
Because technically it's not you.
No, you can't.
Okay.
But anyway, it really threw me off the tracks because I had been in the program for quite some time.
You were nearly done.
Yeah, I was about 6 months away from being done. I had like field work to do. I would have been done. And I was good at it. I really liked it. I could see myself doing it, but because of the way things happened, it wasn't even like I could go to a different school and get it because the people inside the profession were a little bit shady too. Yeah. And my name kind of was blackballed, unfortunately. Unfortunately, when you're in a really closed profession where there's only a couple thousand in the whole state or whatnot.
They hold the market on you.
It's who you know, basically. And having come out through art, I knew that who you know was very important, and your name and reputation are all you have, basically.
Yep. The moment any of that gets tarnished.
I didn't want to have to fight through that when I knew that what I was doing was right. And even though I was on the losing end of it, I felt like I won because I didn't perpetuate fraud.
The other thing that I don't really tolerate either is teachers who like play favorites or hold one student higher than everybody else, and then they use their work to shit on everyone else. That's something that I definitely didn't like. Critiquing someone's work is, you do the compliment sandwich. You say something nice, you say something that's a little bit critical, but hopefully it's constructive criticism and not something that's going to, like, I don't like this because, and then another compliment on top of that. But my life drawing class that I took with, I'm not going to say his name. I nearly did. He was very, he made me have like an enormous art block for about 6 months after I took his class. I didn't want to draw ever.
I want to say you let him do that. I want to say that. Because you didn't follow through. If you had followed through, you might not have had that art block.
Well, I did, or at least I tried. And the problem with it was he wouldn't allow you to draw outside of class. Yeah. So he didn't see the merit in drawing from a picture. He didn't see the merit of drawing. In fact, there was a website that was up during the time of me taking this class. It was called like Life Drawing 360. And it was every day, they had like a live stream of a model with cameras 360 degrees around. and you could pick which camera you wanted, and you would just sketch the nude model from the website. And technically, I guess that's an image, but because he like refused to let you do makeup work by doing it that way, there was no way to like make up lost projects. And there wasn't like, because the nude model was only there 2 days out of the week, and you weren't allowed to just drop in on other classes because there's a naked person in the room, and like you're opening the door and there's potentially someone who doesn't want to see a nude model might see a naked person. But like there was no way for me to, and I should also say that I've never drawn a human body ever before, and this was like my first experience to life drawing, and it did not go well. It was very bad, and he was very harsh, and all of his rubrics were they never made sense. And I think you said they look like ransom notes,
right?
Because like
that's a clue.
They were all caps, and it wasn't in like nice 12-point font or anything. It was like in 36 font size, all capital letters, and it was very, very bad. And he just destroyed my will to draw anything, just because he was really critical about everything that I did. And he also he's like, if you draw anime at all, no, get rid of that. It's garbage. It's trash. And it's not going to help you draw at all. It's only serving to like drag your creative process down. It's like, no, not really. I mean, that's a pretty creative thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was bad.
Well, regardless, I guess the point is teachers can make you or break you.
Yeah.
And I definitely have gotten lucky, but like I said, I do research about the classes and the teachers that I pick. Well, I don't walk in there cold and not know who that teacher is a little bit.
Well, the problem is, Rate My Professor is a great tool.
Highly recommend ratemyprofessor.com.
Yep.
You can go out there and look up the school, the professor, see what kids are saying about this guy or girl.
There was not a single review for him at all, and typically, that's a good thing. Typically, because that means that no one had anything overtly nice to say or anything overtly terrible.
Well, another thing is, too, that he was the only one teaching that class.
Yeah.
The whole campus, he didn't have choice.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
And this is another technique that I've done throughout my college career, is that I split myself between Rio Salado and Australian Mountain College, because I can take classes from either one of those that count towards my degree, and the classes at Rio are all online and they're designed beautifully. However, the in-person teachers are way better, I think, and nicer down at the college that I actually attend, where my record of attendance is at that college. Yeah. So, I mean, did it take me a while to work out the system? Yeah, hell yeah. And I might continue past my degree here a bit.
Well, yeah, just to get some more skills. Like, I wouldn't mind trying again, but it's been quite some time. Like, it's literally been years since I've taken that class.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, the web design and graphic arts classes have not been challenging.
Yeah, no.
I was way more challenged in that medical program.
We should probably say that we've been, or at least you have been in the web business since like
the web existed.
Yeah, in the 90s.
I came into it
when people had computer rooms, like, you know.
when the web existed, yeah.
And
I don't know anything about the web per se.
I know SEO. You know how to do SEO though.
Well, yeah, but what I'm saying is I don't consider myself an expert. I'm more of a jack of all trades, kind of a web designer. I pull from all over the place because I feel that my designs are more well-rounded that way. But in the graphics area, I had a whole other lifetime as a printer where I did more of we didn't have computers, so we drew things. We took pictures of those things. And
back in my day,
those things became printed products, not digital products. So that aspect of it's been really fun. really had a good time with it. And some of those things I'm going to continue to do.
Yeah. Well, most digital art stuff, even today, like, you don't just immediately go sit at the computer. Like, most of the time you start with paper drawings and sketches and stuff, and then you either scan that in or you use it as a reference point, and then you get on the computer. But that process takes forever.
Yeah. And well, it's the same with web design. We always start with a little sketch, a wire sketch, and get the links down and how everything works.
Motion graphics starts with a storyboard, and that's drawn, so...
Yeah, it is.
You go. Never go straight to the computer, unless, of course, you're really excited and you got to get it out of your brain at least a little bit.
if you have a clear vision, you can go straight to the computer. Anyway, those were our college experiences. I hope that what you've heard helps you in some way if you're in the middle of it or thinking about starting it.
You can do it if you're in the middle of it, by the way. Don't give up.
Yeah, and if you're
take a break.
If you're just thinking about starting it, start today, because it could take 10 years.
That's a helpful thought. Oh boy. It's like, oh man, I really want to start college. It's going to take 10 years. I'm going to rethink that a bit. It won't take that long.
It's worth it. It's amazing how people's perception of you changes when you flash that degree out there, even an associate's degree.
I have an incredible amount of experience doing what I do. However, I didn't have the degree to back it up, but now that I do, people have been looking at me a little differently when I go into job interviews. So it's like, you have X amount of experience and you have this degree? Okay, I see you.
We have a couple products for you.
Yeah. I was recommended this. My professor, who was my motion graphics teacher, he also did programming. We did like a JavaScript class with him as well, and like Adobe After Effects, Cinema 4D, that kind of thing. So his classes were really intense because those are very big programs. And in order to take really good notes, he wanted us to have this thing called Rocketbook. And basically, it's a notebook that has, it's a paper pen experience, but it's built for the digital age. So it feels like you're just writing on a regular notebook, but it's endlessly reusable, which is a good thing. So if you're super into, having a notebook but feel bad that you're like buying all this paper, this is definitely your product because it can last a very, very long time. Let's see here. Endlessly reusable, like I said, you can connect to all your cloud services, so things like Google Drive, Dropbox, Evernote, Box, OneNote, Slack, iCloud, emails, and more using the free Rocketbook application for iOS and Android. It comes in several different sizes, several different colors, and you can, like I said, you can use your phone. You can scan it right into your phone and upload it immediately to like the Google Drive on your phone or iCloud for iOS users. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing to have, especially if you're taking really note-intensive classes.
And then I would like to recommend Ed2Go. There'll be some links in this podcast page description for a couple of classes that you might be interested in. These are non-credit classes, but they're really good, and our community colleges around here do use Ed2Go, but if you click through our link, it's an affiliate link, and we get a little bump back from it, so we appreciate it.
Yep.
And the classes I recommend will be down there in the description. And then Sarah had one more recommend.
I have one more recommend. I'm a little bit older, but I still consider myself to be of with the youngins with your video games and such. So if you do have a 3DS, I recommend Animal Crossing New Leaf as a relaxing game. So say you're studying super hard and you're stressed out and you're just worried and college is getting to you. Or even life in general, like say you're not in college and you're like, man, I really need like a slight escape, but something that doesn't have a lot of like high consequences as far as like gaming goes, something that's not going to overly stress you out even more. Animal Crossing is a really good game to play just because it's relaxing. It's a really relaxing experience. You play as a human in a village full of anthropomorphic animals, And you can fish, you can collect fruit, you help out your fellow neighbors, you grow trees, you grow flowers. If you play for long enough, you actually get like a little cafe, and you can be a barista in the cafe.
So you were a barista in real life and a barista
in the video game world, yes. And oddly enough, it was a more pleasant experience to be a barista in the video game world than it was to be in real life.
I believe it. Animals don't throw coffee at you.
No, they do not. And if you accidentally mess up their drink, they don't scream at you either. They're like, oh, this is different, but I like it. Thank you. And they leave. And it's like, oh, well, that was very nice of them. I do recommend that. 3DSs are relatively inexpensive as well, but if you're an Animal Crossing fan already, you know that next year they're making an Animal Crossing game for the Switch, and I don't know about you guys, but I'm definitely gonna buy it.
I think we're gonna wrap this up. Yeah. I love you, Sarah.
I love you too, Ma.
Wow, I love you back this week. I'll take it. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good day.